just thought I'd mention that. But let's talk about these video game movies, Carl.
Okay, so you've got a list in front of you now. Yes, is this like just movies based on video games? And I'm guessing, what's the word now? Chronological order from like earliest one made to the latest one made.
I don't have the list up because I thought you said you were going to get it. But
Okay. Would you rather I get it and go through it?
I've got the Wikipedia list of films based on video games here.
Okay, so do you want to go through this then? And let's see.
So what I'm assuming you probably want to do the same is live action ones.
Yes, specifically except for the only exception I'll make is the Resident Evil ones.
'Cause it has them separated, so it has the animated ones and Japanese animated ones and stuff like that up here.
Yeah, so let's just specifically go for live action movies based on video games then. And is the earliest one the Mario one?
So on here, release date May 28th, 1993, Super Mario Bros. Yeah.
Oh, that's not a good start, is it? That is far from an auspicious start to this subgenre.
But worldwide box office nearly 39 million
on a budget of.
It doesn't actually have the budget, but that will be profit.
Presumably, yeah. And the only other thing I know about Super Mario Bros.
Mm-hmm.
I know that movie, it was so bad that Nintendo basically said we will never sell the rights to one of our characters again unless we can do it all in-house, which is why they're working with, is it Illumination? The guys who
Illumination on the Mario movie.
The guys who make Despicable Me, because they want to basically control it all in-house. There was a porno parody of Super Mario Bros. Starring Ron Jeremy, which was made because Ron Jeremy kept getting called Super Mario. Because he's he's not, I don't think he's Italian, but he does look like Mario a little bit because he's short and squat with a hairy chest and a big mustache. And Nintendo bought the rights to that exclusively to bury it. Just so it never saw the light of day.
And quickly, just want to refer to my chat. Just to let people know, if you've missed it, we're not doing Q&A the way we've been doing it recently.
Oh yeah, it'll be in a separate special podcast, I guess.
So yeah, we're going to be doing separate Q&A podcasts where we collate all the questions we want to look at and just go through them all in one whole podcast. But you can email any questions you want to carlscornerqa@gmail.com.
Yeah, has there only been any emails filtering through to that yet?
There's been a few that I've seen so far, yeah, but I haven't
gone
through and done anything with it yet.
So we've not made an announcement on social media or anything. Is Lucas a bit quiet? We can turn him up now. There we go.
But yes, Ezekiel in chat, we won't be doing questions at the end of this one, but if you want to just you can send it to either my Discord or that channel or the email, and we'll sort it out.
Easy enough. So what comes after Super Mario Bros? Because I'm gonna guess it poisoned that idea for at least a couple of years.
Actually, 2 in 1994. We've got Double Dragon, which was just a flop.
Oh god, yeah, they did make a Double Dragon movie.
They did.
Oh god, why was Double Dragon ever that big?
I think Double Dragon was relatively big, yeah.
So I was going to say the next one surely is the Street Fighter movie. That was 1996.
The next two are Street Fighter and then Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, because it was Street Fighter in 1996 and then Mortal Kombat in 1997.
No, Mortal Kombat was 95 straight after. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is 97.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well that's where they peaked for me. Those three movies just captured the camp quality of video games.
Yeah, they were just great in the sense that they were really bad and cheesy and awful, but they kind of knew what they were. Yeah,
they knew that. Why are people watching this? Because they like the video games. So what do they want? They want fucking video game references. Mm-hmm. We're going to make it realistic, to the detriment of the movie in some cases, but we will put in all those dumb references people want. Yeah. For example, the Street Fighter movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme did do a fucking flash kick. He did do Guile's flash kick. He did not do a fucking sonic boom.
No.
Because they couldn't do that, could they? But he did do a fucking flash kick.
But man, I would have loved it if, similar to how they had the real actors for Mortal Kombat and then Street Fighter the movie, the game. Mm-hmm. They did that weird motion capture style. I would have loved it if the CG was just the animations from the game. So, like, the Sonic Boom was just, like, the little 16-bit Sonic Boom going across the movie screen, like...
Just do the Uwe Boll. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. For the Mortal Kombat one, they did, at the very least, use the sound clip. They did use the original Get Over Here sound clip from the game.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the original, but they did get Ed Boon to do that.
They did. People don't know. One, I think, yeah.
Ed Boon is the voice of Scorpion, but only for the Get Over Here. And he still does it in every game. Every time they make a new Mortal Kombat, they bring him back into the studio to do it again. And the story is that they mix that with the older ones. So the original one, and what they do is they play it randomly, where the older one is like a less likely to play one, and there's the newer one. And then they give like the actual voice actor a couple of lines to say as well. So it's like same with like Toasty. So the guy's like, Toasty!
Do they still put that in the game? Because I've not really played much of
Toasty is still in the game, to my knowledge. It is, it's just very rare to get, and I don't think it's in 11, because 11's a lot more like serious, but it was in 9, and I believe...
I knew it was in 9, because I got it a few times, but I didn't play 10 or 11 enough, like, but they seemed like, as you say, a little bit more serious.
Yeah, but I would love... If they never put that in the movie, though, they should have done.
They should have done.
They 100% should have put in the fucking Toasty when someone landed an uppercut. And those movies are just fantastic because, like, they have all the characters you want in there. Mm-hmm. Like, as well, you get that actor who played Johnny Cage just gnawing on the scenery in every fucking scene he's in. And, like, as well, he's the best character in it because all of his lines are now, like, his performance informed the characterization of Johnny Cage.
Yeah, it's like one of those weird things of going the full back way around, isn't it? Of just, okay, the movies are now influencing the video games.
Yeah, because of and you had that to a degree with the Street Fighter movie, where it was the line of, for you, the day Bison visited your village was the most important day of your life. For me, it was just a Tuesday or something like that. And that's been put into Street Fighter 4, I think. If Bison wins, he'll just sometimes have a rare chance to say, for you, this was a tough battle. For me, it was just a Tuesday or something like that. And that, to me, is fucking brilliant, because the Mortal Kombat one is, the other line of, those are $500 sunglasses, asshole.
Oh, yeah.
That line, for Mortal Kombat 10, when they added Goro to the game, Goro had a grand total of 2 unique interactions for every other character, with the exception of Johnny Cage, who they added a 3rd extra one where he talks about his sunglasses. It's like, it's good when they put in extra lines in.
Oh, God, that is good, yeah.
And I'd say that's where video game movies peaked. Because as bad as they were, you can watch, what they are, and they know what they are as well.
So I'm having a little look down this list and, like, spoiling myself on the thing, and I'm just like...
Any stick out to you was like ones that, like, you just can't believe they got made and just, like, completely flew under your radar. So I think just after Annihilation, because I know Annihilation was bad, but at least Annihilation had all the characters in it. Because I remember it as being the one that had just had everybody in, like, Motaro's in that. It's got Sector and Cyrax, and they have the bit where they play, like, techno when Cyrax comes in.
God, yeah.
Like, they have, like,
I think I've only seen, like, Annihilation once, but, man, that's a movie.
Wait, where is it? One sec. So, audio listeners, this is bad for you. One sec.
Carl's going for it. Oh, God. The list just is longer than I thought, but, man. Oh, Carl's bringing out Mortal Kombat.
It's on my shelf behind me. I have it.
Right behind him.
Yeah, because it's one of those films that I want us to do a watch-through for when we're all back at the office to record a commentary track for. So this is the Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I've actually got it. It's the DVD right here. And it says on the front, the sequel to the box office smash, because the first one made a lot of money.
Yeah. So the first one, it says here, made $124.7 million.
It made a lot of money.
And the second one only made like $51 million.
Yeah, it did not do well. And then there's like a load of shit behind the scenes. Like a couple of the actors did come back, and then they get killed off in like the first 30 seconds because there was like a money dispute because they made so much money on the first one. But I'll read it here. So, a non-stop edge-of-your-seat thriller They're back and they're not playing games. Mortal Kombat Annihilation begins in every way where the blockbuster adventure of Mortal Kombat left off. This time, though, with more spectacular fight sequences, more astonishing special effects, and the whole world as an arena for battle. A band of fearless fighters have defeated the evil warlords of Outworld, but Shao Kahn, the feared Emperor of Outworld, breaks the sacred rules of Mortal Kombat and arrives on Earth with his extermination squads to conquer and eliminate anything that stands in his way. And they even had Shiva in it, and they got the actress and they gave like the extra arm.
Yeah.
And it's fucking great. And I know it's bad and I know it sucks, but at the same time, I just love that they play the song.
Yeah, and it's one of those as well, like, it's so bad that it is like good in just a silly, campy way of like...
It is an amazing film to watch with a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
And just get hype every time. Like, oh, Reptile turns up and he's a dumb CGI reptile.
It's like, you know, for example, there is like Wing Commander after that, but then Lara Croft Tomb Raider, which we mentioned.
Oh wait,
then Resident
so that's like
Evil.
So that's where the decline.
Yeah, that's where they're not great quality, but they also take themselves super seriously.
And they did make a bit of money. And I feel like a lot of those movies were released not to capitalise on the success of any particular game, just the nascent popularity of video games as a whole.
Well, I'm looking here, and so Lara Croft Tomb Raider comes out in 2001 and makes $274.73 million.
Yeah, it was really successful. It's also as well really popular. I think it's Indonesia, maybe I want to say. It was filmed on location in Indonesia, I think. And there's a bar that's there where they still serve the Lara Croft cocktail, and it's the drink that Angelina Jolie would have when she wasn't filming there. Maybe it was Burma. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I apologise for not knowing where Tomb Raider was filmed.
But
there's a bit of
the
trivia
next movie to like go above that is a couple of like dozen movies later, and it's Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. So it took 9 years for Lara Croft Tomb Raider to not be like the highest earning video game movie.
And who the fuck remembers the Prince of Persia? Well, the only thing I remember about that is it's Jake Gyllenhaal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember. It's Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's a really boring shit movie.
Also, yeah, they got Jake Gyllenhaal. Is it Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal? Either way, they got him.
I always say Gyllenhaal, but I'm not sure.
To play the Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Persia. He's kind of in the name, isn't it?
He is definitely not Persian, as last time I remember.
Right, just that he is the pastiest of white dudes, apparently.
Yeah.
And what movies were in between there? Is it just all the Resident Evil movies?
It's not just Resident Evil movies, and I will clarify for people who are wanting to know / correct us. It says here, the Tar Prom Temple located in Angkor, Cambodia.
Cambodia, that was it, sorry.
So that's Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Cambodia.
Because it was one of the first movies to be filmed there ever.
Some notable ones between Lara Croft and all the way down to Sands of Time are like Resident Evil, multiple of them.
I can't believe they got made. Like the first one was okay, wasn't it?
Cradle of Life,
which was again all right. It's just an Indiana Jones movie at that point. I'm not sure why they don't just make Indiana Jones movies and put the Lara Croft thing on them.
Yeah,
because the thing is, she fights like yetis and shit in those games. Like, do you know what they should have done? They should have been a cross between Indiana Jones and the Mummy movies.
Yeah, where
they should have had that
supernatural.
Tone. Yeah, but they should have had like that comedic tone.
Yeah, for sure. And it's weird to me that they go for the weird, like, they do make it very strange in the sense of the gimmick is like the weird time travel dagger machine, but then it's very just, we are fighting other humans, and it's very plain and just gunfighty, and it's like, where's the T-Rexes? Yeah,
that's the thing. I feel like they would have absolutely nailed the tone if they would have just struck a balance between Indiana Jones, which itself doesn't take itself too seriously, and those Mummy movies in regards to like the action.
Yeah.
Like the campy, flamboyant action, like a fucking like throwback to an adventure movie or something like that.
Because I feel like they went, in the end, more for Indiana Jones meets James Bond.
And I guess that makes sense, but Lara Croft isn't James Bond.
No.
She's an adventurer. She's not like a spy.
But
she is British.
They definitely went more down that kind of route of like very Pierce Brosnan-esque.
Yeah, and you know the only reason they did that is because Lara Croft's British.
Mm-hmm.
She's British, so she must be like, you know, posh and prim and proper, which she is in the games, but at the same time, she does have a sense of humour.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she shoots a fucking butler with like dual Berettas.
Or just puts him in a freezer.
Yeah. I kind of wish they'd had like a nod to that, because that's the kind of thing they'd have had in a movie that took itself less seriously. They would have had like a scene of a butler being repairing the fridge or something like that, saying, I nearly got trapped in there last time. And then all the people at home like us would have gone, oh, do you know why they did that? Yeah, we know why they did that. We know why they did it.
Oh god, this is great because this shows like Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic score.
That's great. Okay.
And at one point, there's a movie here, like a few movies after Resident Evil and Tomb Raider, and it got 1% on Rotten Tomatoes. Can you guess which one?
It would have been one of Uwe Boll's.
It
Blood Rain?
Yeah. No, it's Alone in the Dark.
Oh, okay. Because I know he had like Blood Rain was really poorly received, and so was that one.
So Blood Rain 4%, House of the Dead 3%.
Yeah, like the fucking trifecta. Those movies are god awful. They're not even funny bad. Like, you know, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, at least it's bad. Like, at least it has like characters that you like in it. Who the fuck do you remember from like Alone in the Dark? Name one character from Alone in the Dark. Exactly.
I don't even know the name of the main character in that.
Dark. Dark man. No, that's
like Ethan or some shit. I don't know if that's like in the new one or the reboot one or what. I honestly don't know and I don't care because it's Alone in the Dark.
It's like the thing as well. The House of the Dead one could have worked because obviously they could have aped Resident Evil and just done a Resident Evil rip-off. And it might have even been a more faithful Resident Evil homage if they'd have not put all the bullshit in with like Alice.
They could have as well done something similar to what another movie did. Doom.
Which is? Oh, is that the Karl Urban one or the newer one that came out but they didn't tell anyone? Did you hear about that?
Wait, what?
There was another Doom movie that was so bad they didn't tell anyone it was coming out. And they didn't tell the actors, and the actors were like posting on social media like, look, I'm in the Doom movie. It's just rats like, wait, there's a Doom movie? Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought it was just one Doom movie.
There's a second Doom movie that came out, but it's only on, like, I think exclusive, like, Redbox or something like that. It was straight to DVD, but it was straight to, like, a streaming, so it's real fucking bad.
No, this is the Karl Urban one, and I was going to mention, like, that one good scene where they do the first person.
Yeah, that should have been the whole movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what a Doom movie should be? A Doom movie should be Hardcore Henry. Have you seen Hardcore Henry? It's entirely in first person, and it's like the guy doing parkour.
No, I've not seen that.
Okay, well, basically, it's just a guy doing parkour in first, and it was based on a short. Where it was just like a dude. You've probably seen the short. It's like got Shalto Copley in it from District 9, where he's playing like a World War II soldier, and they're like going through a burned out building.
I don't recognize it from you talking about it, but I might have seen it in the past.
It's just like, and the idea is it's only first person, so there's like all the cool stunts.
Yeah.
And you have like the guy doing backflips through buildings and things like that. It's like that's what a Doom movie should be. It should be a 2-hour, and he's a completely silent protagonist as well. So that's what it should be. It should be 2 hours of just you in the helmet of the Doom guy. Do you know, like in the 2016 game where he just wakes up on a slab? And then people tell a story at him. That's what a Doom movie should be. But Hollywood doesn't have the balls to make something that interesting.
But like speaking of not interesting, there's a lot of not interesting in the middle of this.
Okay, well, name some of the movies that are just not interesting.
So I'll just reel off some. Because there's like the UA Ball ones that we've mentioned, and then you've got like Hitman. You got In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale.
I will say the first Hitman movie is kind of good, just because the guy who plays Hitman is like, I had no fucking clue it was him. And have you seen Santa Clarita Diet?
Is it that guy? Is it
that
the husband?
Guy. It's the husband from Santa Clarita Diet.
What?
Yes, that's why I was like, and someone told me, went, no, it's not. It was just some bald dude. Holy fuck, it is him.
Yeah, Timothy Olyphant.
Timothy Olyphant. Yeah, and I had no idea.
I didn't know that.
Exactly. That means like what a good actor he is. That's made me realise how good he is.
I really enjoy that actor. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had no idea. Like he was low key one of my favourite actors alongside Karl Urban, because when I broke down like all the roles Karl Urban's had, because he's just chameleonic in that way, where he's a good looking dude.
Yes.
And he's charismatic, but he's never the leading man. So that allows him to like kind of blend into it, become his character a bit more.
Yeah.
So he's been in so many movies that I love him in, and I just never realised.
Yeah, and then you break down, and especially as well because a lot of them are like nerdy geek culture kind of movies. Like, you know, he's in Lord of the Rings, he's in Dread, and obviously like
More
most
recently,
notably
The
now
Boys.
The Boys. But yeah, like I remember going through all the stuff that he's in. It's like, god damn,
Yeah, he's
I
like
really
low-key.
like Karl Urban, and I never knew.
He's just in so much stuff that I like.
Yeah, and like he's awesome in Thor Ragnarok as well.
Yeah. But like, I need to mention the Hitman Agent 47 movie because that's where a friend of mine drinks whiskey because of that movie. Because there's a line in that thing where Hitman gets served a drink. It's either Hitman gets served a drink or someone serves him a drink, and he asks for like a whiskey with 3 ice cubes, and someone just looks at him and goes, "You know, some people would shoot you for doing that to a whiskey that nice," and he just looks at them and goes. So people at home didn't see, he just looks at them and then just stares back. It's like, the fuck are you going to threaten the Hitman for? Is he going to fall for that?
Oh god, but yeah, that's Hitman Agent 47, which was like the bad one, wasn't it?
But you do have, again, it's kind of campy, where they have a moment where like they're all holding each other up with guns. Like there's 4 hitmen all pointing guns at each other, and they look and they go, "Should we do this?" And they all nod and they all put their guns down and pull out katanas. It's like, why do they do this? And it's so shit. Because it's so lame, but the idea they all like they're all huge weebs who just pull out katanas and start fighting with them.
Oh my!
And that's the kind of tone you need for a video game movie. It's like video games generally don't take themselves seriously, especially one like the Hitman series. Like you can kill people with a fucking lobster.
But I would love a film where it's about like Agent 47 getting dressed in like the most ridiculous outfit.
Exactly, yeah, that'd be great.
Going around slapping people with bananas and like killing people with banana peels.
Because in my head as well, I can imagine like the perfect opening scene for that, where it'd be like a Final Destination movie, like where you have all the setup of like, and you see him doing all these really seemingly random things. So this is what I think in my head, like opening scene for a theoretical like Hitman Agent 47 movie. Like this is free for you, Hollywood. It's like set up, and you just see a guy, like Agent 47, you see his shadow, like the bald head, the suit, just setting up various contraptions and seemingly like tinkering things that don't make sense. A group of men walk into a building and just all these accidents just befall them. They all just like a Final Destination movie, and the next day, just there's a newspaper headline like 5 die in tragic accident. And he's there like, okay, yeah, and then you just see money getting wired into his account.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, like, if Agent 47 is doing his job correct, nobody knows he's ever there.
Exactly, yeah. And so I want to say I've seen both of them, because I watched them both on planes. And, like, he is just firing guns wildly. He's like John Wick.
Yeah.
Like, where he's fighting in the middle of, like, public squares. So, like, a Hitman movie, you should never see him firing a gun.
It's also like John Wick, but without the good choreography or lighting or anything as well.
It's like a Hitman movie should never have Hitman firing his gun. Ever.
But Karl, it's like, what do they call like the silver balls or whatever?
But that's the thing, like, you failed at playing the game. If you pull your gun out in a Hitman game, you failed.
Yeah, if anyone ever notices you're there, you fucked up. Like,
yeah. In
my head, that's always like the only way you can play a level. Like, you've got to go through that level without anyone knowing you're there. And if you like, you get to the end, it's like, you got noticed. It's like, well, we retry that level then.
I will always remember, though, when my friend played through, me and him played through Blood Money, and I'll just never forget, the final mission is go to the White House and assassinate somebody. And I was like, how the fuck are you going to do this? Because you can pick your loadout into a mission. And he picked, like, a shotgun, like, a fully leveled up, like, silver baller pistol that looks like a fucking toy from like the Star Trek Enterprise. And then the very first thing you have is you walk out, you're on a bus, part of a tour, and you just see a metal detector. And I'm like, well, are you going to get past this one, knobhead? And he walked around the corner and just threw his guns over the fence. There's just something about Agent 47 just throwing guns over the White House fence, walking round through security and just picking them back up. And it's just
like, that image in my head of just like, Sir, what are you doing? He's just launching this like gun over the fence. Nothing, mate. Don't worry.
He went up and picked it up. And I was howling. And then he did another one where that had the system where the more you got was spotted, they started to like put up portraits. Like do that newspaper system they had where it's like the more notoriety you had, the more they got an image of who you are. Eventually it gets to the point where people will just open fire on you second one. Because they just have a little, if you get caught on CCTV, that CCTV picture just on newspapers. And he's
literally a bald man in a suit with a barcode on the back of his head.
Yeah.
It's quite identifiable.
That's the thing, though. If you're playing the game properly, no one's going to see you. But like, I remember like he had full notoriety when he tried to do that mission like later in like our play session. And the second he walked off the bus, just someone looked at him and went, "It's that bald psycho!" And then just 30 people opened fire on him. And it's just like, I remember that one because he pulled out like a nail gun because that's the weapon he equipped, and he just went through the nail gun. Just like, that is a fucking guy you're going to remember. Oh, but Lucas, like, I'm just going to go for a quick bathroom break because fucking hell. Like, that laugh when I did that belly laugh just sent my coffee right through me. So give me 1 second. Oh, so I apologise for that, but just that belly laugh made me go, oh, that coffee went right fucking through me. And just... yeah, I will never forget, though, just the look on my friend's face when he just had that smile of, oh, I know how to figure this out, and just hurling a fucking gun over the fence to the White House and just walking in.
And just that's the reason that those games were good.
And that's why they should have that in the movie.
I would love just more improvisational shit in that movie, yeah.
It's not even the improvise, it's just they need to start having fun with them, and, like, if the game itself is... it's, like, fair enough, like, a Last of Us movie... or Last of Us TV show, I guess. Like, that's what they're making, isn't it? I don't want that to be campy and silly, because the tone of the game isn't that. But a Hitman movie, fucking, yeah, lean into it. So what's the next one we have in our list of bad video game movie adaptations? That's the thing, even though it's a list of video game movie adaptations, I know that it's going to be bad, because they're all bad.
Well, there's one that we actually spoke about recently. It's Max Payne.
We talked about that?
We did talk about Max Payne, didn't we?
I don't remember ever talking about Max Payne, because Max Payne, the movie, sucks.
No. Yeah, I'm thinking of the old Punisher film. That's what we talked about.
The Punisher one's alright, that's based on a comic book.
Yeah, that's not Max Payne. I'm getting them mixed up in my head.
The Max Payne one is fucking awful, and I don't even remember watching it. But I don't actually remember watching that, looking at it now. We can quickly move on to another thing I've never fucking watched. Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. Apparently that was alright.
Was it?
Like, people talk about it being okay, but like it's the same. Then again, people also talk about like that Mortal Kombat web series. People talk about that being really good, and it's like, no, it's not. It doesn't have any fucking budget, and like the actors have no charisma whatsoever. So then they had like an online series like Ryu and Ken, which was really bad because they don't look anything like the characters. And
I just went to click on The Legend of Chun-Li, and it's like, oh, I recognise a couple of the faces on the thing, and it's like, oh yeah, it's got like Neil McDonough, Chris Klein, Michael Clark Duncan, and also Black Eyed Peas member Taboo as Vega. And I was like, wait, what?
Oh man. Well, the thing is, Vega just wears a mask. Like, that's the kind of thing where you get like the Brad Pitt cameo in Deadpool.
Oh, the Invisible Man, yeah.
Yeah, they should have put that. Like, Vega should be a cameo from like a celebrity. I
can't believe it's like, oh yeah, we got the Black Eyed Peas member to be Vega. It's like, okay, sure.
I love Vega as well. Like, he was like my main, just because like the warrior, like that, all that bullshit that he did. I loved it.
Well, he's the only character that you look at somebody playing well and go, this man's like grabbing onto the sidewalls and like flying across the screen. What's going on?
Nobody beats Vega. But yeah, have got any more movies? Like, what period are we in now? That's like time wise.
Okay, so time wise, we're just getting into 2010.
Okay, so what starts in
2010? The first movie is Tekken.
I have that. That's on my shelf. Do you? I have that Tekken movie behind me.
I forgot that a Tekken movie even came out.
And do you know why it's bad?
No.
It's bad because they tried to give the main guy playing Heihachi's hair, but they didn't commit. Like, they give him like a little bit of like the fluff on the sides, but they don't fully commit to it because there's no way you can get an actor to have that haircut.
Is it like the first X-Men with Wolverine?
Yeah,
where he has a little bit of the Wolverine hair,
but not enough.
Yeah.
And I want you to double check something for me. Can you click that movie and look at the cast?
I can.
Because I think the one saving grace of that movie, can you just scroll down and who is it who plays Eddie Gordo?
Eddie Gordo. Let's find the names.
I want to double check.
Lateef Crowder?
That's it, yeah. Because Lateef Crowder, if you want to click on that guy, if you can see a picture of his face.
Yeah.
You'll see that he looks exactly like Eddie Gordo. And that's because Eddie Gordo, the character, was based on him.
Oh, really?
So that, I think, is pretty cool. That the
Yeah,
guy
because
who
it says here he's like an actor, stuntman, and martial artist.
Yeah, he was also as well the guy who did the motion capture for Eddie Gordo in Tekken 3.
That's so cool.
So he did the motion capture for it, so they based Eddie Gordo's look on him when he was doing the motion capture.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they did a movie, and I think that's just a really neat connection between them.
That is cool, yeah. Oh,
Also,
God. I'm just kind of worried.
Sorry, there's a guy in my chat who's like, is this a Zoom call? We're recording the podcast live, it's just we don't want to refer to chat too often.
Yeah, like, people don't often refer to chat that often in a podcast.
Yeah, it's just nice if people want to, like, hear this live. Plus, we can refer to it, as and when it becomes relevant. Like, earlier, someone just, helped us with the name of an actor and the name of a movie.
Yeah, but generally speaking, if we want to keep a podcast with a steady flow, you don't often refer to chat or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of just how it works.
Dude, calm down. And, that's the one saving grace of that movie. And, Yoshimitsu's in it and he looks fucking awful.
I was just wondering what King looks like.
I don't think he's in it.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Because that's the thing as well. They play the movie too seriously. And if you want to put... And that you shouldn't do it with Tekken. Tekken is a series where a man throws his son into a volcano because he's not strong enough to challenge him yet, and he's got.
But then the son comes back in the next game to throw his dad into the volcano.
Did you play the story mode of Tekken 7?
No, not of 7. I don't even think I've really played 7.
Right, well, it's really bad except for one bit, and it is that you've got to fight Heihachi as child Kazuya. And obviously it doesn't work because Heihachi just fucking wrecks you, and then you play Heihachi and you've got to press the grab button, the throw button to throw him off the edge. Mm-hmm. So you throw Kazuya off the edge.
God damn.
And you have a great moment where you do a 10-hit combo as baby Kazuya, and Heihachi just armors through it. And then at the end of the game, you do it again, and this time you break Heihachi's armor and throw him into the fucking volcano. And then he comes back and fights Akuma, and it's great. I fucking love it.
Akuma?
Yeah, Akuma turns up. No, sorry, Akuma turns up and fights Kazuya.
Akuma's in from Street Fighter?
Yeah, Akuma's in that game, remember? And Akuma rocks up and just fights Kazuya in a volcano.
I thought it was just a DLC where he's not in the story or anything.
No, he's the main character in the story. It turns out that Akuma knew Heihachi's wife.
What?
And she turns up to fight him.
I thought that was guest characters where they're not included in story mode or anything.
No, he's in the story mode, yeah. Because that's what they're both owned. Or Bandai Namco, they had him. So they fucking put it in. It's just really, really funny when you play that game. And they have stuff because obviously Heihachi owns a company, and so Kazuya owns the G Corporation. And they have footage of him turning into a devil on the news. And they're and they have it's a little shot of a headline that says Kazuya Mishima, a demon, ? And he's just in the news. Just on the stock checker. It's great.
That's the thing, yeah. It's really hard to take a game seriously where they've got devil people in it and angel people and shit. And
they took the movie way too seriously, yeah.
Yeah, and they've got Yoshimitsu and King as characters, and you just fight a straight up bear. One of the fighters is just bear.
And that's what that movie should have been.
Yeah.
If you want to do make it fucking dumb.
And it's hard to make any fighting game movie serious.
And that's the problem as well, where you couldn't really do it justice, because a lot of those, the Street Fighter movie, they tried. The Mortal Kombat movie is probably the most realistic, the one that you'd have the best chance of making using live action, because the special moves and stuff aren't that crazy. They are, obviously you freeze a man, but that's something you can, as an effect you can achieve. But when you've got Mortal Kombat, when you've got Street Fighter and they're throwing Hadoukens, it's really hard to ground something like that.
It's what is that? Action. Is that a ball of fire? What are you animating there?
It's hard to marry those two things together. Same with Tekken, where you can get the people who do the moves. They got in the guy who did the motion capture for Eddie Gordo, but you couldn't bring in someone and stood there dressed as King and take that character seriously.
Well, it's when they did live action Dragon Ball movie that was awful.
Yeah.
And it's how do you effectively show ki blasts when they're meant to be just, planet-sized blasts across the fucking screen of
pure concussive force.
Yeah, but instead it's got to be the
and it's just it's not great, is it? And what we've got next, Luke? What's we're in the 2010s now. We're nearing the home stretch.
So after that is Sands of Time. Then we've got Resident Evil Afterlife and Retribution.
God, See,
because
those
things start slowing down now.
yeah, those CGI movies are actually all right, and I watched the latest one yesterday. 'Cause Netflix now
I know
has them all.
Afterlife and Retribution are 2 live action ones.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is
Are
it,
you thinking of the ones where it's like Degeneration?
That's it, yeah, Degeneration. So Afterlife and
Yeah.
Retribution. Holy, I must have just forgotten what the live action ones were called.
Yeah, because there's like Apocalypse, Extinction, Afterlife, Retribution.
And then the final chapter, which, spoilers, ends with the main character saying, "This is not the end of my story." And it's like, fuck. Like, those movies could have been alright if they'd have focused on anybody but the OC.
Yeah.
Like, if they'd have just been like Jill Valentine or Chris Redfield or anyone who's like, a memorable character from the series, they would have been fine. But with the fact that it is just, I think, is it Wes Anderson who directs them, and it's just his fucking wife.
And I think we've mentioned this before, but fair play to the guy.
Yeah, married his own OC. You got to respect
He
it.
married his wife and then just went, I'm gonna make her the main character in every film and make her as badass as possible.
And all the movies are terrible.
Fair. But he's given it a good shot. Like, he did the exact same with the Monster Hunter movie, obviously.
And that went terribly. Because they pissed off China. And you never do that. But yeah, those Degeneration movies are alright because they nail what Resident Evil is or became. And do you know, like, all like the almost pornographic attention to detail on like the weaponry?
Oh yeah.
In like RE4. And you have like the super extensive customization and like the reload stuff. They have that in the latest movie, in the CGI movies, and they have a scene in, I want to say, I think it's I don't know what it's called now, but it's like the latest CGI one, and like the one that's not, this is the new one coming out this year, so I watched in anticipation of that, and they have like a fight scene where it's Chris Redfield just doing tactical reload combos on a room full of zombies. And you have him like do the thing of like, oh, this is what like a special forces soldier who's trained his life would look like in a fight with zombies, and he has like a knife on the end of his gun and he stabs a zombie with it, and then he like pulls out a pistol, shoots 3 more zombies, reloads his gun while it's still stuck in the zombie, and he's like rolling around on the floor like headshot and everything. And then, and this is my favorite bit, is like you hear like an elevator ding, you're like, oh, who's that? And Leon turns up on a motorbike underground on his motorbike. It's like, this is so dumb, I love it.
Yeah, I just checked, like, the Resident Evil ones are like Degeneration, Damnation, and Vendetta.
There we go, yeah, Vendetta, because that's the one where just Leon Kennedy throws a bike at someone.
But that's what someone like Leon Kennedy should be doing.
Yeah, and it'd be really difficult and they tried to do that. I would say it'd be difficult to do in real live action. They did do that in live action and it sucked. Because they had Alice do it, where she like kicks the bike at the dog, and it looks awful.
But I suppose like then instead of doing it with CG in the CG world, you're doing it like probably like poorly with wires or CG.
They also did it entirely in slow motion, so it looked bad.
Yeah, because I remember they got the like Resident Evil 5 Executioner guy to do the really slow-mo throw of the axe, where like the camera moves around the axe, and it's like, oh. Just like you could have just had this big dude throw a giant axe at someone, but no.
But they put everything in slow motion because like they thought slow motion looked cool, but it just made the movies age poorly. And just they have so many fun moments in that. Like, they have Chris having a shootout with somebody at point blank range. So he's at point blank range with his gun in their face, but the guy's like using like he's infected with something, so he's dodging it all. And they just have like, and it zooms out and like it shows you like all super close up and like shows you all the hand to hand motions of them like dropping the gun, picking like the Winter Soldier fight. Yeah, they have all that, but then they zoom out and show you what it looks like, and it's just them running in a circle, firing a gun at each other at point blank range. And then they have like another one, I think like Ada Wong's in it, and she fist fights like the Prime Minister of Made-Upistan. I think it's literally called like the Slav Republic, and she's just like a lady in a suit. It's like Russian Hillary Clinton. And Ada Wong tries to shoot her, and then this lady kicks the shit out of her. It's like, oh, I guess it's true what you say, that you did used to train your soldiers. It's like, what do you mean train? I still do. And it's just lady in power suit fighting Ada Wong with like a machine gun. It's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. This is so funny.
Oh man, that does sound good. And that's like, is that in Degeneration as well?
I don't know.
No.
Because I watched them all in a row because I was like writing yesterday and I had them on in the background and just looked up for the action scenes and just burst out laughing.
Fair. Yeah, Vendetta is what I meant to say, but yeah. We haven't gone over the Silent Hills movies because
they were okay.
I haven't watched them myself because like I'm not a big horror person.
They nailed the tone to a degree. And like one of the big aspects of Silent Hill, because they did the thing of they didn't do any singular story from Silent Hill. They like married together a couple of different plot lines and like created something kind of unique while also like borrowing elements from the thing, which is probably the best way to do it. And they have like a lot of like imagery in it that's really uncomfortable, which is it suits a Silent Hill game because those games are super uncomfortable. Yeah. Like it is like I think we talked before about Silent Hill 2 having a lot of allusions to repressed like sexual urges and things like that. That's a big aspect of the game. And then in the Silent Hill movie, they have a lot of allusions to the fact like a little girl in the movie was sexually assaulted. It's never said outright, but it's hinted at, and it's real fucking uncomfortable when like you know that. And some of the things that you see like when Pyramid Head turns up, and Pyramid Head stabs through a doorway with his giant sword, and then bugs start pouring in, and it's like oh that's like just a metaphor for the little girl being sexually assaulted and then contracting an STD. And that's like not me reading into it, that's like what the director has said. Like the director said that's what it's supposed to be a direct allusion to. Why is there a dude in my chat yelling at Nightbot? It's a fucking robot programmed to just detect spam. Dude, you're not going to win. Like, I hate when people do that.
God, yeah.
I love when people just argue with a fucking robot.
That is programmed to do one thing and it did what it was told.
Yeah. So hopefully that dude learns his lesson.
But Karl, I got a bit freaked out by this one.
Okay. Is this one you don't remember?
No, this one I remember. Well, I remember occurring. I didn't watch it because it was obviously trash.
Okay.
But Need for Speed, which came out at the start of 2014, 7 years ago.
Yeah, because that was is it Aaron Paul? And
so that threw me off more because that's like 7 years ago, and that's when Aaron Paul was like done with Breaking Bad already, or like towards the end of it.
Well, it came out the same year that Breaking Bad ended.
Yeah.
It's sort of the first big project he had after Breaking Bad. And it's the, I guess I can, like, spoilers for a 7-year-old Breaking Bad. The end of Breaking Bad is Jesse driving off into the distance in a car. And there was all, like, the jokes that, that's the start of Need for Speed.
And, like, yeah, he had a very promising career after, fucking Breaking Bad. And then the first thing he got thrown into afterwards is Need for Speed.
Yeah, and I remember seeing a lot of interviews about that movie for some reason, and you can tell that Aaron Paul did not give a fuck because he said the same thing in every interview. It's, we try to reminiscent of all those old car movies like Bullet and Ronin and things like that. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, that's what they've told you to say. What did you think about it? And he had no original thoughts about the movie himself. He was just repeating the same line of, it's reminiscent of all those great car driving movies. It's like, are you going to mention Fast and Furious? Because that's your competition now. Your competition isn't a movie from the 80s, it's Fast and Furious. What are you doing to top that?
The answer was very little, Karl, because as far as I'm aware, Need for Speed didn't go into fucking space.
No.
And I'm pretty sure that's what Fast and Furious did or is doing. I haven't watched them, but
there's no dinosaurs in Need for Speed, that's for sure. So what we got next? Like Need for Speed, fucking hell. That just crashed and burned, didn't it?
That did, and like that. The next one after that's Hitman Agent 47, which we talked about. The one after that, I think, was like looked like it was going to be okay to me, and then when it came out, it was apparently not good, which was Warcraft.
That was good because it made money in China. It was massive. If you want to check the box office,
I've just looked up then, and it looks like it's the highest earning of
video
this
game movie
list
of all time. Yeah.
$439 million.
Yes, it made all of its money in China because it's just a CGI spectacle, and movies like that, Western movies like that, tend to do well in China because they're the easiest to translate for a Chinese audience because it's just fucking action, and that's why Avatar did so well over there because it's just a visual spectacle. You don't really need to know the story,
and as well, Warcraft is a huge name at this point.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why you got stuff like Monster Hunter being made. where it was just going to be a huge CGI clusterfuck that they were pivoting to sell to China. And the story with that is that they had a racist joke against Asian people in like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Is that how early on in the film that joke is?
It's like one of the first lines in the movie is just a racist Asian joke.
Chinese it's still like when they're in the desert before they get transported into the monster on the world, isn't it?
Yeah, and that line was picked up by Chinese censors, and they were like, well, you can't fucking release a movie in China. That's insulting Chinese people. Fuck you. And that movie died. Like, it was in cinemas in China for one day.
And this was, released during lockdown as well, so China was one of the only places they could release it.
Yeah, it was one of the only markets where they physically allow people to go to the cinema. All because they decided in a movie where they were bending over backwards to, lick China's shit-covered boot heel, let's just put a racist joke in there about Asian people. I'm sure they'll love that. The notoriously... censor-happy Chinese government is going to love to have just a mocking jab at Asian people in this movie.
Yeah, it's very weird to make all that effort to try and appeal to the Chinese audience. And we're obviously saying Chinese audience specifically, not like Asia in general, because China is so populated, it makes so much money if a film does well there.
Yeah, and that's why. And that movie was so heavily marketed towards China to the point where I guarantee you nobody listening to the sound of my voice right now saw an advert for that film because it wasn't marketed towards you, it wasn't for you.
Yeah,
it was for China.
I saw the trailer on YouTube when it was announced, but I didn't
you ever see a poster for it?
Actual marketing.
No,
but
it was
obviously
all in China.
Why would we see marketing? We were locked inside and couldn't go to the cinemas.
Yeah. All the marketing was in China because they wanted that Warcraft money. It's like, oh, big CGI spectacle. That's Chinese audiences love that.
Yeah, and I heard the Warcraft movie was
right.
decent, but I know a lot of people that Warcraft fans that were like, no.
Yeah, it's fine for what it was.
Yeah.
And it was good enough to market over there, and that's why a lot of movies based on video games are probably going to look like that.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got one that I keep saying bad one, but they're all bad ones really. But another one that was quite hyped is Assassin's Creed.
Oh man, it just looks so bad. Assassin's Creed's poisoned anyway because they, for some reason, still cling to the idea of the Animus, which I contend is the worst aspect of that entire series, and the fact that it is the backbone of every single game in the series makes me not give a fuck about any of them.
No, and I get that they wanted to have some kind of connection between every game, but
they didn't need to.
Even some of the games didn't give a shit because Black Flag basically made it a joke about fucking QA testers being the people in the Animus.
But they still put it in.
But then they still put it in the newest games where it's
yeah, I hate it.
4 or 5 games later. It's
just fucking get rid of it. Start again. Reboot the series and just remove the Animus. I remember I was playing Assassin's Creed Origins, the one in Egypt, and I was playing it for a good 4 or 5 hours. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of getting into this game. I'm kind of having fun, and then just boom, what the fuck's that? Oh, for fuck's sake! Zooms out, and it's the Animus scene. I'm like, I'm done. Just immediately turn the game off. I'm fucking done.
Yeah, that's what happened with me in Odyssey. Is I was just trundling around the opening area for a bit and doing a couple of side missions and played a few hours, and then the Animus bit turned up. I was like, fucking turn it off.
I don't know why they insist on sticking to it. It's so bad. But
there they got Michael Fassbender in, and they, marketed it, but it was not good. It did relatively well, 240 million.
It did have
pretty decent in terms of the video game.
Yeah, it had pretty decent practical effects as well because they really did strap Michael Fassbender to a giant robot penis that swung him around.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah,
all the behind the scenes. It's a more interesting movie to watch the behind the scenes stuff of than actually see the movie itself.
Yeah, certainly. I watched a making of trailer, and that was more interesting than the actual film trailer.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, yeah, that's all I need to know. Really, it's Michael Fassbender can't sell me on this one.
No, unless he was playing Magneto in the movie.
That would be great. It's Assassin's Creed. Where is it? Oh, it takes place in 1940s, and it starts a young guy learning to control his powers as an assassin. No, as Magneto. It's right, okay, yeah, sure.
So, and I'm guessing now we're getting to like the end of it now. So any ones recently would be like Monster Hunter, and then any we've missed.
One that I want to mention that I think is probably the most successful, like in terms of just nailing it for a video game movie so far, is Detective Pikachu.
Oh yeah, 'cause that's the thing. It's based on the universe, but it's a completely unique story.
Well, it's based on the universe and takes the name of the game that was on like the 3DS, but has nothing to do with the 3DS game's storyline.
And that's the best way to do it.
But yeah, like in terms of just nailing the vibe of like a Pokemon world and just having a very simple, basic story that everyone can follow, but has a charming character, like actor like Ryan Reynolds to hold it all together.
Yeah, I still wish it was Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Danny DeVito would
I
have been
still
great.
wish it was Danny DeVito. I'm still mad that it's not, because it was originally supposed to be him.
But yeah, like as I say, they really nailed what it looked and felt like in terms of just this feels like a world where Pokemon live in it.
Yeah, and one thing I want to ask, if you're getting basically now to like the end of it, is there a section that's just the movies that have yet to be announced? Or ones that are like in pre-production? I'd be curious about the... So what video game movies are currently being made? So let's like, put our marketing hats on now and anticipate how well these are going to do.
The first one, I don't know what this is. I've never heard of this game. So that's called Werewolves Within, and it's Ubisoft.
I've never heard of that game. Do you know what that might be? That might be like a movie and a game being released at the same time.
But I haven't even heard of the game. It's meant to come out June 25th, 2021.
But what series is it based? Click on it, see what it's based on. Because it might be like based on like a universe they own. Werewolves Within. So I can't think what that'd be. What game is it based on? Is it based on a game called Werewolves Within we've just never played? That'd be awesome.
I don't know. Unless this is literally just... It's released by Ubisoft and it's a movie.
So it counts as a... Like
based on... Oh, hang on. Based on... Oh my Jesus Christ.
What is it?
Based on Werewolves Within by Red Storm Entertainment.
The fuck is
It's a
Werewolves
multiplayer VR game for Oculus Rift, HTC Vive and PlayStation.
That's why we've never heard of it.
Released in 2016. Like, this is a weird grab.
That's why we've never heard of it. Okay, fuck that then. And any other
unannounced? Moving on. We got Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Is that like the reboot series they're trying to do where it's like, fuck it, we know that those were bad. RE2 did gangbusters. So let's just get back to... Because all they need to do is just make Resident Evil 2. Just make Resident Evil 2 as a fucking
they are
video
going
game,
for that kind of cast, aren't they? They've got like... I think they've literally got like Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, Leon.
It's so baffling. Like you have
Jill.
Here's RE4. Just make RE4 a movie.
Done. So yeah, that's the Resident Evil reboot with like a cast that isn't just somebody's wife. But then we have the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland in it.
Yeah, that could be interesting. If they're going to nail the town now.
Yeah,
that's what we said earlier. The Mummy movies.
Again, like what movie what video game movie could succeed really easily?
Uncharted.
Like Tomb Raider or Uncharted, because they're just Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones itself has proven to work as a movie. So
yeah, and Tom Holland is like, I wouldn't say he's a bankable actor yet, because he's not yet been established in Hollywood long enough. He's like been in some big movies, but he is just like a good name to put on a project that people trust.
Yeah, and it's weird, isn't it, though, of like, it has got a bankable actor, but one that I would say is a bit less charming, and that's Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah.
So Mark Wahlberg is playing alongside him as Sully, and like you've got young Nathan Drake being played by Tom Holland, and I'm just like, Tom Holland, yeah, cool, like up and rising, like star that is in like Avengers and stuff and seems really likable, alongside Mark Wahlberg.
Fair enough. We'll see if Tom Holland can make up for the charisma vacuum that is Mark Wahlberg.
But he's meant to be charismatic, Sully, but at the same time he's like the older, grumpy one. So it's like he might make it work.
All he needs to do is have one good if they can do a live action version of the train scene, then we'll be okay.
Yeah,
and that needs to be the opening scene. The opening scene needs to be just the most ridiculous scene. Again, the Hitman movie I pitched. Opening to the movie needs to be like just Tom Holland just bumble fucking his way through the most catastrophic accident you've ever seen. And then he just stands up.
But at the same time, like, this is like young Nathan Drake.
Well, he's
So I
always
don't
been
know
like that.
how bombastic they're going to get.
But that's how he always did it, isn't it? Like, that's the start of, like, is it number 2 where it's in the train or the plane crash? Where it crashes in the desert and he stands up and you have, like, the title card opening?
Oh, that's number 3, yeah.
That's like, you need something like that.
Yeah, you definitely need something crazy and ridiculous, yeah.
And what you do is you release that.
Even number 2 starts as like a flash forward where the train's just crashed and you're like climbing up the train that's been crashed on the side of the cliff, and like then it's like, oh, and then, you know, flash back to see what happened to get there.
And what they need to do is they need to upload just that 10-minute clip as just like to YouTube.
You say that, but like how many people watched the first 7 minutes they uploaded of Mortal Kombat and went, right, I'm done, that's all I need to see.
Well, that is all you need to see, because it's the only part with Scorpion in it, is it? It's the Scorpion Sub-Zero fight, so you're done.
Yeah. And it's like, why would you put that out for free?
Yeah, that's the only part of the movie people want to see.
Yeah, exactly. And you can put it at the start of the movie, but just put like, I was about to say Johnny Cage fight, but he's not even in the fucking movie.
He's teased
like,
for the sequel.
Put a Liu Kang fight as your teaser, but don't use your free teaser as fucking Sub-Zero Scorpion.
Yeah, but yeah, it's teased for the sequel, and it might be Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is actively campaigning for the role.
Or like I've also seen, I don't know if this means anything to you anymore because don't know how much you know about wrestling, but the character The Miz is campaigning.
He could work.
And he is like the WWE equivalent of Johnny Cage.
Plus, as well, he has the look, and he's been in so many like bad directed DVD movies that he could nail the thing of washed up actor who think he's great. Yeah,
and I saw it and went, I wouldn't be mad if The Miz got to be Johnny Cage at all.
But Johnny Cage needs to be a martial artist, because his backstory is that he actually is a good martial artist, but everyone thinks it's special effects because they're so good.
And like I remember one of my friends who's like really into WWE, like, you know, not made me, but invited me to watch some wrestling. I was like, I don't really know any of these new people, but The Miz came on and I was like, I like that guy.
Yeah. You can tell he writes all his own lines.
Yeah, he sticks out straight away.
But he could do it, yeah. Like he'd nail that, just like cockiness, because he's a wrestler and he's larger than life. He's like part of his brand, like, so he could do that.
100%.
But either way, I
also would love Ryan Reynolds at the same time
to play like washed up older Johnny Cage.
Yeah, and like we've mentioned, like the next one, which is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
No fucks given. I don't care.
I don't care, but like, I don't think the first movie was too bad in the end. Like, I think it was fine for what it was, and like, apart from the weird owl shit that they put in, like,
which was clearly from an earlier cut of the movie where they had more CGI of Sonic, but they didn't want to redo it all.
And like, apart from that weirdness of the origins of Sonic and stuff and whatnot, but yeah, the rest of the movie was on brand with Sonic, I think.
A solid 6 out of 10.
I was actually about to say it's probably one of the better Sonic products to come out of the last 10 years.
I still can't believe when you put that tweet out of what you think Sonic was 20 years ago and what it actually was, and it was like the picture of Sonic Adventure 2, then the one what it actually was, it's just the tombstone. You've got actual messages from salty Sonic fanboys. It's like, you're not doing like the reputation of this fan base any favours by literally doing what everyone expects you to do, which is just be a salty bitch about Sonic stuck in ass. And then is there any more unannounced movie projects?
So there's a couple more. There's like the Borderlands one.
I have no interest in it. It's just going to be the Jumanji movie again.
Yeah, it looks like it, and it's got a good cast, but
how many movies have been saved by a good cast?
Not too sure. There's some some that are quite definitive, and some that are very nebulous. Like there's like sequels coming up for like Detective Pikachu and the Tomb Raider movie. But then there's things
that got a sequel. There's no way that made enough money to get a fucking sequel.
Which one? The Tomb Raider.
Yeah, the Alicia Vikander one.
Says here Tomb Raider, 274 million. So
I guess
like a decent amount of money.
But sequels, like, they generally get less money.
That's true, but like that's still a decent amount for a video game movie.
I guess as well at this point, it's like, fuck it, just throw money at the wall and see what sticks.
But yeah, we've got a lot of like more tentative ones here, and
is the Halo movie still there? Because that's been on like.
It doesn't say that here, but you've got movies like Gears of War, Ghost of Tsushima, and then it comes up as like Just Cause, Just Dance.
I reckon they could do like if they just slap that branding because Just Dance is really popular.
And
they
just make a step up the movie.
Yeah, just make Step Up again.
Yeah, you got Mega Man apparently.
That's never getting made.
Minecraft, Rabbids, Space Invaders, like
never getting made.
Saints Row.
That could work. A Saints Row movie could work if they really leaned into how stupid Saints Row is.
But you know what could work better than Saints Row?
What's that?
The Untitled Yakuza film.
Well, Yakuza is basically a movie as it is. If they put the same level of action in it, I'm down.
But that needs to be like they lean hard into the tone of Yakuza.
And the soundtrack.
And the soundtrack.
And the soundtrack and the action. And the style.
I missed out one that we'll probably have like something to say about is the Metal Gear Solid film as well.
I do not care. That series is incomprehensible. There's no way they're going to make a cohesive movie out of it.
Well, that's what I mean. I figured we had a bit more to say about that. Of just like, yeah, like...
It's incomprehensible. What would you do?
You play those games for what? 15, 20 hours, like the original trilogy, and go like, this makes very little sense.
No. They're going to have to like strip that universe down to its bones.
And it's going to have to be just, a pretty basic standard, like...
It's going to be a spy thriller.
Spy
I don't
movie.
care about a spy thriller.
It's gonna have to try to be like Mission Impossible or some shit.
But then, like Metal Gear Solid was never about its scale. Like, if anything, all the Metal Gear Solid games are really small scale in the grand scheme of things. Obviously,
you're very convoluted plot and very.
You're stopping like nuclear annihilation, but the idea is that the whole point is that nuclear annihilation can happen from like one small thing. That's the idea, isn't it? It's like you're crawling through. It's one man crawls through a base to stop total annihilation because that happens on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, just even though I've heard like the director's a massive fan of the games and stuff, I'm just like, but how do you take this ridiculous, very serious, and very stupid game, this super long, super convoluted, has a load of weird characters in it, and put that in a 2-hour movie that makes any sense?
It's going to be like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where they just introduce characters without any explanation. Like and do you know what? I'd be alright with that. If they just in the middle of the movie, Grey Fox turns up, I'd be down with that.
And apparently, like, Oscar Isaac's pinned as a Snake, which I'm not mad about.
Yeah, he's like a decent actor. He looks the part.
He does, yeah. But I'm very, very, like,
ambivalent.
Just confused about how they can sell Metal Gear as a movie, because it is a movie, but they're all like 20-hour movies that are completely nonsensical.
Also, what game are they basing it on? Because that will inform if I'm excited or not.
I'm aware, I'm like going off something in the back of my head that I might have misremembered. Think it's based off Metal Gear Solid.
Just the first one.
Yeah.
Because if it was number 3, then I'd be interested, because that means we get the boss.
Yeah, we'd get the boss, and we'd get the origin story,
which makes more sense.
Makes a bit more sense rather than dropping you into the middle of like, oh yeah, but I'm Snake, but I'm not like Naked Snake, I'm Solid Snake, but then you've got Liquid Snake, and it's already a convoluted mess.
Yes, but if they start at number 3, it can be a very like simple, in big air quotes, story about trying to stop a nuclear launch.
Mm-hmm.
And also then you get Volgin, and we could get Volgin in, and we could get the Shagohod moment, which would be fucking incredible. I want the fucking Shagohod.
I can't remember the name of the bosses, but you get all of those like really
Fury,
iconic cool bosses.
And we get.
You can't remember the name of the actual squad, can you?
The Cobra Unit.
The Cobra Unit, that's the one. Yeah.
You get the pain.
For some reason in my head, like the Cobra Unit wasn't there, but the Snake Squad was. I know it's not the Snake Squad.
The Snake Squad works too. But that's or if they just say fuck it, we're going straight into 2021 because that's when the game is set and we're doing a Metal Gear Avengers movie.
Oh god,
just straight into it. That'd be great.
So who's this cyborg? You don't need to worry about
Who gives a fuck?
His nickname's Jack the Ripper, and he gets glowy red eyes and murders everything, and eats people's backs through his arm.
I hope that it does okay, just so we can get a second one, so we can have a scene of Raiden fist fighting the president on top of, the fucking downtown. I think on top of Wall Street with a samurai sword. That's what I want. That's the kind of shit I want from a Metal Gear Solid, but we're never going to get it. And it's never going to be what I want. We're never going to have the scene from Metal Gear Solid 4 where you fight Ray with Rex.
Oh, God.
And you start firing lasers and shit. So we're not going to have that.
And this is my argument with, video game movies in general is, even if they get to a point where they make that, why is that better than what we've already got?
Because I'm not playing it, so it's not as hype.
Yeah. I'm sitting there, okay, well, you've recreated one of the coolest, hypest moments in all of Metal Gear. We've got Ray versus Rex, and I sit there and watch a well-choreographed fight, potentially, and it's but instead I could go play Metal Gear Solid 4 and just, get super hype and play that moment myself.
Yeah, it's like if they did Metal Gear Solid 3, and you do the fight with the boss at the end. So I don't care how good you choreograph that, it's not going to be as good as when I'm throwing snakes there. And I'm just doing the fucking jab cancels on her as there's a snake biting her ankle. That's my fight. That's how it ended for me.
But then the second time you do it, where you just pull out the Patriot and infinite missile, oh no.
It's like you want to go down. It's time to be an American hero. And just paint the American flag on your face, strip to your waist, and whip out the M60.
You're never going to get the Shagahog moment as well, where you're insta-reloading rocket launchers.
Yeah. You're never going to get this. Someone says, well, in chat, what about a Cyberpunk 2077? We got that. It's called Cats. That's about as close as you're going to get, because it's a movie where it doesn't fucking work.
And they keep having to patch it after launch.
But
that game is still not back on PlayStation.
Yeah, it's still not patched.
So, PC warriors unite, but goddamn, PlayStation don't see that game as sellable on their console yet.